Revelio. Welcome, wizards, witches, and nomads. My name's David Syczylo, and thank you for taking the time out of your day and visiting my channel, Wands and Reviews. Last year, I started sharing with you some of the holiday-inspired wands that I created. And yes, I know during this past year, I skipped a few holidays, and I'll probably get to them next year. But anyways, enough about that. I really wanted to talk to you about my favorite no-match holiday, Halloween. Halloween is celebrated each year on October 31st. There are many stories about the origins of Halloween, but when I was a kid, I was taught October 31st was a day where the summer harvest ended and the beginning of winter was to come, and on this day, the ghosts of the dead could return to Earth. But as a kid, nobody cared. We just wanted to dress up and go door to door to get that candy. But there's much more to Halloween than just costumes and candy. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go over a watered-down version of the most accepted thoughts of Halloween's origins. It all started with an ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, where people of the time would light sacred bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts and hope for a successful harvest the following year. After the Roman Empire conquered the majority of Celtic territory, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the Celtic tradition of Samhain. The first was Feralia, a day in late October where the Romans commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. No, we are not talking about Professor Pomona Sprout. The symbol of Pomona is an apple, and with that incorporation of the celebration of Samhain, some believe that this may be the origin for bobbing for apples. Later, Pope Gregory III expanded the festivities and designated November 1st as the time to honor All Saints, and started All Saints' Day. The evening before October 31st was known as All Hallows' Eve. But with the spread of Christianity, the Church designated November 2nd All Souls' Day, a day to honor the dead. All Souls' Day was celebrated similar to Samhain. The All Saint' Day celebrations were also called All Hallows, and the night before it, Samhain, started to be called All Hallows' Eve and eventually Halloween. As beliefs and customs from around the world are different, over time, Halloween evolved into a day of various activities such as carving jack-o'-lanterns, playing tricks, and trying to scare one another. There were festive gatherings where people would wear costumes, play games, and eat treats. But the most favorite of the activities, especially for children, was trick-or-treating. But there was a move, especially in America in the 19th century, to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and caring instead of what some would consider as witchcraft. People were encouraged to take anything frightening, such as ghosts, dressing up in costumes, carving of pumpkins, and even trick-or-treating out of Halloween due to superstitions. But that didn't last very long. Halloween has become a commercial holiday full of traditions, scary stories, ghosts, goblins, and witches, haunted houses, and of course, various superstitions. There are some who still reject Halloween in all of its festive glory, but for most of us, especially here in America, it is a time-honored tradition to dress up, celebrate, and have fun with family and friends. But how do I design a wand to represent Halloween? I looked at the history and origins of Halloween, and I really didn't find anything that inspired me to make a wand. So I briefly looked at some Halloween movies and shows, and again, I really didn't find anything that was inspiring. So I asked myself, is there a spirit or a character out there that embodies Halloween? You always have that dark character hidden in the shadows, the typical Grim Reaper, Scarecrow character, or that guy with the pumpkin on his head. That just didn't work. It's way too cliche. So I was having a hard time coming up with an idea. Maybe I was looking in all the wrong places, and maybe I was just trying too hard. So I started to ask other people, what was their icon of Halloween? That didn't help me at all. Everybody has the cliche, iconic icons that everybody thinks of and is mass-produced commercially. So that was just out the window. I really needed inspiration for a wand that would inspire Halloween, but it has to fit into the wizarding world. I was about to give up, but then my husband said, why not a wand that resembles a dead branch? It's the end of the year, a time for nature to die. That made perfect sense to me. The wand could be a stick that could eventually end up in a sacred bonfire. It might be used as a pretend sword for a kid's costume, or one might pick it up and ward off spirits. I had an idea brewing in my mind for the wand of Halloween. Here is my Halloween-inspired wand. The wand was not made or based on any one iconic character or thought that is Halloween. It resembles a dead branch that can represent many facets of Halloween. My non-official Halloween-inspired wand measures in at 14.2 inches in total length. Taken off of a tree or picked up off the ground, this branch or wand is dying. Most of the bark is gone, and it has dark, dull colors to it, meaning the year is coming to an end and winter will be here soon. There are several broken off stems on the branch. Each one used to be a smaller branch that most likely had leaves but have been broken off. There is still some color in the wand, but not much. Some orange coloration magically peeks through. The handle of the wand has been cleaned up so one can hold it without being stabbed. It is well balanced and easy to hold. To a no-mage, this is just a stick, but to any magical child or adult who would come across this branch or wand and picks it up would feel its power and would be able to cast some limited spells before the wand's power fades. My husband said the wand had to look like a dead branch. So using random pieces of a dowel rod, I cut them into pieces that I'll fasten together to make the wand. Each piece is held with a toothpick glued in between each piece. I then added more glue and covered that glue with sawdust. When dry, it is very hard and secures the pieces together. The wand is now starting to take shape. Using my small belt sander, I started to give the wand its form. I decided to hollow out the end of the handle. With my Dremel, I started to randomly carve in lines to make it resemble a tree branch. I also did this to the inside of the handle. The wand is now starting to take on a better form that is more recognizable as a tree branch. After using the Dremel, I was not happy with how the wand was shaping up, so I decided to step it up and add in broken twig pieces. I used toothpicks for the small limb pieces and glued them into holes that I added with some sawdust just to give it that tree branch look. Wanting more of a dead tree branch look, I dripped some glue onto the wand and let it run down. I covered the glue with sawdust to give it texture. I let the glue dry overnight. So far, I would say I have about 7 hours of work into this wand. The next morning, I lightly sanded the wand and cleaned it up a bit so it wasn't so rough to the touch or sharp, especially in places like the little pieces sticking out. The next day, I started to add some color to the wand. I used wood stain and layered in a couple different colors to give it a natural wood feel to the branch that will eventually become my Halloween wand. When the stain was dry, I went in with some watered down orange paint and washed in some color into the cracks and crevices of the wand. I chose orange in color because orange is often associated with Halloween. This holiday wand is probably the hardest wand that I ever had to come up with an idea for. Halloween should be easy. Pumpkins, skeletons, bats and candy, everything orange and black. Making all of that fit into the wizarding world was the challenge. I do not like to make things that are very obvious or cliche because I want people to look at it and question it, what it represents. Because in the back of their mind, most people know. Halloween magic doesn't come from a spell casted from a wand itself. It comes from the magic that is inside each and every one of us who believes in the spirit of Halloween. So what are your thoughts on this non-official Halloween-inspired wand that I created? Let me know in the comments below. I truly hope that you have enjoyed this holiday wand-inspired video today. If you did, please click on that thumbs up button, and if you have not already, give me a treat and subscribe to my channel. I promise there'll be no tricks if you do. And remember, treat your family and friends by sharing this video with them. Thank you, and have a happy Halloween.